guys. Okay, this is my favorite stream of the day because my new obsession is Welcome to Plathville on TLC. If you follow my channel and you used to read my content when I was writing on Pathios, you know that I am obsessed with Christian fundamentalists, cults, polygamy, all that good stuff. And we have a delicious treat with this show on TLC because we have a family who is part of the Quiverful movement, similar to the Duggars, who has a daughter-in-law who drinks, has a job, eats sugar, wears pants, and really short shorts, and lives in the world. She's worldly. They have internet at their house. If you haven't watched the Plaths, you have to. They're on TLC on Tuesday nights. And the family is a family of 11 that lives in Georgia. Barry and Kim are mom and dad, and they are the most sheltering parents in the entire world. Their children they live on a 55-acre farm where the kids have limited technology, are homeschooled, kept out of the public eye, kept away from mandated reporters, and are basically working for their parents. They have a folk band where they were touring up until recently. They have 9 children, and they've had 10 children. Joshua, one of their boys, passed away a couple years ago when Kim accidentally ran him over while she was working on the farm. And they are a family that works. Now, recently, I found a video on YouTube from a couple years ago that was introducing the family, and it was part of a Quiverful series. And it was interesting to note in that video that they talk about the children in terms of work. So all the kids had a job, which is odd to me because kids are like children. They shouldn't have jobs. They talked about one who farms and who plants stuff and has cows, and he was like 14. And another one who takes care of all the cooking and the cleaning. I mean, one of them, the mother, Kim, described her oldest daughter as the one that takes care of the entire household. Does all the cooking, cleaning, and laundry. Like, why be a mother when you can just have, why actually be a mom and take care of your kids when you can just have your kids take care of your kids for you? It's like she's taken a playbook out of good old Michelle, who's like, yeah, you gotta please your husband and be joyfully available. Now, in this same video, she also talks about how the best thing a woman can do is submit to their husbands. So Kim is from the world where she grew up with a mother who was single, who was an alcoholic according to the first episode. She talks a lot about how she wants better for her family, so they don't drink, they don't do anything naughty, they don't even eat sugar, they only eat honey. And her oldest son, Ethan, who is 21 or almost 22 years old, he recently married Olivia, who is this bombshell of a young woman who also comes from a homeschooling Christian conservative family, but has a less conservative background in that her family drinks alcohol, she eats sugar, Olivia shared on the first episode that she and Kim have had arguments about going out to have ice cream because she doesn't feel like it's a big deal. And Moriah, their daughter, who is 16, now 17, talks about how when she first bought jeans, it was completely against what mom and dad wanted. So this is a family that has very strict guidelines. So I found it interesting when I found Olivia's Instagram because she has a public facing Instagram, which isn't normal. Ethan's is private, Moriah's is private. The family overall is very private. They don't have a lot of social media. And one of the things she talks a lot about on her Instagram is how hard the first year of her marriage has been. It's odd. She was in this one, she's talking about how she wants to be more real and honest and not be a facade on Instagram. And she's, this was October 31st as they were approaching their anniversary. And there she is with Ethan. And this was their, so she posted this on the date of her anniversary, okay? And she wrote, 1 year, one hell of a year. 365 days ago, I was fretting because I had no power to curl my hair and there was only a few generators to run the entire wedding day. And all of the florals were stuck in Miami because of the hurricane, and our little honeymoon was canceled because of the island washed away. And yet I still got married. 1,000 things can go wrong on a wedding day, and believe me, a hurricane wasn't what I planned for. But the most important thing is that at the end of the day, you're still married to your best friend. Sweet friends and my family pitched in and made last-minute bouquets, ran to Walmart as soon as it was open to buy me falsies and wine, restrung lights, cooked last-minute food, and all around worked our butts off to make sure our day was special. We are still so grateful. We are still so grateful. Babe, wow, it's been a year. It hasn't been easy, and we've shouldered our way through some crappy storms. But what matters is that I love you more than I did then and can't wait to grow old with you. So something I've noticed a lot in some of these families, especially like, for instance, Josiah and Lauren, they just celebrated their first year. Duggar, by the way, just celebrated their first year of marriage. And their first year of marriage also was talking about like heartache and what a hard first year of marriage it was, which makes me think about how in a lot of these families, these children are so ill-prepared when they get married. They don't have dating histories. They don't have backgrounds with relationships. So they're sort of walking into marriage with no experience. No wonder it's hard. But with her case, it's because her mother-in-law rejects her. So this was just a random one where she's talking about her traveling. So she went to Minnesota, which is where I'm from, which is kind of cool to see. Shared a photo of her sister-in-law, Moriah, who's 17, her and Ethan. And then this is interesting. Another thing that I find interesting in this is, listen to this. I left a part of my heart in Minnesota this morning. Moriah has been such a close sister and friend to me, and we've walked through more life crap together in the past few years than some friendships do in a lifetime. It's pulled us closer and made us stronger, taught us how to be tougher in a hard world and gentler in a precious friendship. We've walked through fire and found a solace in each other. She's also the most fun and adventurous business partner I could have asked for, keeping me on my toes and reminding me to let loose and not get caught up in all the little details. They usually work out anyways. I'm not gonna lie, I almost cried while buying her a one-way ticket to Minnesota because I knew that meant goodbye. But I'm beyond excited for this new chapter of her life where she discovers her significant place in this huge, beautiful world. So this means that Moriah has left the farm. Whoa! And if you notice there, they've had to walk through fire, they've had to deal with all the kinds of stuff, and she and Moriah are kind of kindred spirits. Moriah likes makeup and wants to be out in the real world, and Olivia has sort of taken her under her wings and sort of is guiding her through this transition, trying to show her other things in life. And there she is with Moriah. And then there's Moriah responding, oh my gosh, I've learned so much from you, Olivia, and still have so much to learn. I have no idea what's going to happen, but it's got to be better than what's already happened. So Moriah has left the family, but she's theoretically only 17. This is interesting. And I love you so much and cannot say how thankful I am and lucky I am to have ended up with you in my life. I love you and miss you so much. So it appears that Olivia helped Moriah leave. I don't know how or where she was going to. And then, this is just, here's another thing. She posted this, I don't know when she posted this too, but she's saying, if I'm being honest, I've walked through a hell about how she's owing an apology to her people on her work. So this is she's a photographer, and she says, if I'm being honest, I've walked through a hell of a year where I've faced constant rejection from people close to me. I've battled depression, always thinking I must not be good enough or sweet enough or enough. And those mental wars greatly affected my business. I'm sorry I haven't been showing up and practicing what I preach, and I'm not loving serving our clients and being 300% more than just a vendor that I slacked this year. I'm sorry I haven't been as responsive, as helpful. Thank you you stuck with me. You sent me cards and gifts and texts saying you are enough and you are needed and you are wanted. And I heard over and over that you missed my old self, always happy, always laughing, ready for an adventure, living on caffeine and adrenaline. I've got more lines in my face and more cracks in my heart, but I'm here, ready to show up and ready to love on all of you again, ready to stand up for myself and protect my mental and emotional health so that I can give you 300% and more. You are all my tribe, and I cannot believe the job is to serve and love the heck out of you. Thank you. If you've made it this far, I need your opinion. Blah, blah, blah. So it's interesting because she's talking about how she's been rejected, how it's made her depressed, how she hasn't felt like herself. Like, how sad is that for a woman that's walking into a marriage in this type of family, and this girl is absolutely gorgeous, absolutely beautiful, and she doesn't feel good enough because she's not conservative enough, because she eats sugar and she drinks alcohol and she's going to poison Ethan. And they have such a sweet relationship. And it's, you know, like, she wrote this: do I love enough? Do I laugh enough? Do I work enough? Do I serve enough? Am I mature enough? Am I prepared enough? Am I enough? I've had to take a step back lately and remind myself that I don't have all the answers and I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but I have enough. Ethan and I have walked through a lot of life junk together since marriage and had to learn how to set up boundaries around us. But I'd be a fool if I didn't realize how lucky I am. I'm married to the hardest working man I've ever met, and together we have built a life and home and a family. And I have a job I love, a church I call home, and a father who loves me. We laugh, we dance, we dream about the future. We share the workload and accomplish a lot of our goals together as best friends. And all of that outweighs the crap. Wherever you are in life, focus on the beautiful. Just thinking that this is like how she spent her first year, it makes my heart break. Like, this is the aspect of these types of movements that drive me crazy. Like, are we not supposed to just love people and not judge people and respect people for what the choices that they make in life, if they're not hurting themselves or hurting their family members or hurting, you know, their children? But seemingly feeling every single day like you don't feel good enough, that's got to be a complete ridiculous. I mean, I can't even imagine that sort of mountain to climb. And then it's because of things like you eat sugar or you drink alcohol. Like it's this is so wild to me. And they clearly have a very loving relationship, and she loves her parents. She said, I mean, on Mother's Day, she said, "Mom, you've gone through more in life than any woman should, and yet you've never complained, never taken it on me and sacrificed everything you've had to raise me and love with love and grace. I'm forever indebted to you, my best friend." And it's just sad. Like, anyone that's walking into a marriage, you are ultimately going to enter in with a family with your spouse, and your spouse becomes your priority, and your extended family, as amazing as your parents are and your siblings are sort of not the priority anymore, because you're making your family with your spouse. You are likely going to have children if you want children. And so one of the things she talked about last week on the show was that it's been challenging to set boundaries because this is their house, they're adults, they can make their own decisions, and Kim seems to fight with her about everything, which makes me realize that even through this fake happy facade that these families put out when they're part of these fundamental Christian families, it's not all glamour and happiness. It's, you know, judgment and constant berating, and you're not doing things well enough, and if you don't do this, you're not going to go to heaven. If you don't do that, you're not going to go to heaven. And I can't imagine that kind of pressure. And if you haven't grown up in it, and then having a spouse that has been so sheltered from everything, that you as your spouse, as the wife, are basically teaching your husband what Coke is, what it's like to drink alcohol, what it's like to have ice cream, what it's like to live out in a world where you have a real job and you can swear and you can, interact with people, and you can be online, and you can have social media, and you can talk on the internet, you know, all these things that he was left and his parents kept him away from. So I'm excited to see how this goes. I'm actually kind of like, it's nice to see this sort of openness in this sort of world, because I feel like I've covered a lot of these types of families and you don't necessarily see them saying this kind of stuff. They don't typically admit this kind of stuff. A lot of it is very like, we're so perfect and great, like the Duggars, that seems to be like going to be quite a different show. So if you do like sort of these the pull of the dichotomy of people that are super sheltered and the son that's, you know, leaving and trying to get out into the real world, this show will definitely be for you. And I'm definitely interested to see what happened with Moriah. Where did she go? Why is she in Minnesota? She's only 17 years old. Why did she only get a one-way ticket? There's so many questions I have and so little answers. Tune in tomorrow night on TLC for the next episode, and I will be back later with more. Bye, guys.